Okay, welcome to Padlet. Padlet is a blank wall that students can post on and can provide a great activity for any lesson at various points throughout the lesson. It can even be used for research after the lesson or before the lesson, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to set one up. So once you've created your login for Padlet, just click on the yellow button in the middle of the screen that says Build a Wall. Okay, now technically your wall is ready to go, but I'm going to show you some tweaks that you'll probably want to make to it. So if you click on the yellow button saying Modify Wall over on the right hand side, and you've now got all your different options for modifying your wall. So I'm going to set a title for this one, and this one's going to be what my students would like to learn during the lesson. And once you've given the link to students, they'll all be able to post their ideas. Okay, what would you like to learn this lesson? Now I could leave it like that. I'm also going to add a little picture just to make it a little bit more engaging, and the description. So the description to my students will be, write one thing we hope you will have learnt by the end of today's lesson. And because my class haven't used the wall so far, I'm also going to add the instruction, double click to post. Okay, so they know exactly what they need to do. Alright, so that's my title done. Again, you might just like to leave it like that, but I'm going to show you one more tweak you might like to make. For me, this is the fun bit, so you get to set lots of different backgrounds and make it look really nice. So I think what I'll go for is clouds. So for students, the sky's the limit, and it's anything they wish to learn during the lesson. Okay, now a new feature for Padlet is that you can decide on different layouts. So freeform means that posts can be put anywhere and can be resized freely, and stream means that posts are placed one below the other. And because I haven't tried this layout yet, I'm going to go for that. For me, there's no real advantage of one over the other. However, if you do have a large class, freeform can be a bit complicated because all the posts will layer on top of each other and it might become a little bit messy quite easily, whereas stream automatically means that posts are placed one below the other. Okay. Now, one thing I'm going to change is the address. So if you click on address over on the right hand side, now the current address is not particularly nice, and so what you can do is pick a new address. So you'll have padlet.com/wall/ whatever you'd like it to be. So I'm going to change it to learn this lesson. Okay, and pick. That's your new address. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple more things that you might like to explore before you post your wall. However, ordinarily I'd probably just go with my wall by this point and it would be completely done. Okay, so privacy. You can change your privacy settings, so you could have it password protected. For me, I would never really do that because it just adds another barrier for the students to access it, and really you want to make this as easy as possible for them. I think the default setting is usually the most useful, so it's a hidden link. So the wall will have a link, but the link will be hidden from Google and public areas of Padlet. And that's probably what you want for a lesson. You don't want the whole world looking at what you've posted. However, it can be totally public. So if you're doing some research on a topic and you'd actually like to share it via Google and the wider world, you could make it totally public. Now what it is that it's set currently at Can Write. You could have it Can View if you're posting a lot of material for the students just to look at. Can Write is probably what you're going to go for most of the time, and it means they can edit their own posts. There's also Can Moderate, which means that some people could moderate the posts and go on and do that. Probably you're the only one who would ever want to do that. Okay, so Can Write. At the bottom here you've got moderate posts. So posts require approval by one of the moderators before they show up on the wall. Now this entirely depends on your class. For me, I trust my students to post something that's totally appropriate, and so I never have the moderate posts ticked. I just let them post, and then I would delete anything if I didn't think it was appropriate at that stage. However, I've never actually had this issue. Okay, so at the bottom of the screen there, just off the screen on here, it will say submit, and that's all you need to click on if you've made any changes. Click submit, it'll say saved changes. Okay, now you can set up some notifications, which means send me an email sent once a day to be notified when someone posts on your wall. Now, if you were setting up your wall over a week and students were going on posting what they'd learnt during the week or posting links to the topic you were studying, then you might like to tick that. For me, because I generally use it in class for a quick thing at the beginning or the end of the lesson, I wouldn't want that because it would just clutter up my email address box. Okay. So that actually is your wall ready. Now, if you just go to the top of the screen, copy the web link, and then you can either paste it on Moodle, post it on Google Plus if you're using that, or just text the students the link so that at the start of the lesson they have the link in their phone. They can click on the link and just start double clicking to post. Okay, so I'm going to show you what it looks like when students start to post. So all they've done there is just a double click. Now, I'd force them to put their name in the top and then write something. Unfortunately, because I'm filming this, it doesn't appear to want to let me to do that. Okay, so it won't let me amend the name box at the moment, but it will let me write something. So I'd like to learn how to write my conclusion in a better way. Okay, and all the student will have to do is click off that and their post is there. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, if they want to go back in and edit it because they've realised they'd like to add a second thing, or they want to change their first thing because they've changed their mind and thinks there's something more important, they can do that. And if you want to delete the post because it's not relevant or you'd prefer them to write something better, then just click delete the post and get them to post again. Okay. What you can also do is write something, but you can also add a URL for something, or they can upload a file. So if they were doing work from home and you wanted them to do some research, create a Word document, they could then upload that Word document for you. They can also post a link, so a link to a useful website around the subject or something that they'd like the rest of the class to look at. Padlet is absolutely brilliant. It's useful for so many different things. I'm going to show you some of the walls that I've set up. So if you click on here, you can see that I've used it for all kinds of different things. One of the things that worked really well was when we first started studying a new unit. I created the websites for Unit 2, and a lot of the students went on, found a useful website for studying Othello and added it to the wall. This was kept throughout the year and meant that students could access the sites throughout the year as they were revising, and they were all on there. And it was student found as well, so it wasn't just me saying, look at this website, it's really useful. It actually came from their peers, and it meant they were accessing the walls much more frequently. Okay, if I go on my walls again, I can show you something slightly different. For GCSE English, we were looking at descriptive writing. I gave the students the titles, and because there needed to be less teacher input, I wanted them to come up with the kinds of things they could write about. So this one, for the scene in a railway or bus station, they just double clicked for homework and added descriptions that could be used in the piece of writing. So it meant that students coming to write this piece had a whole wall of inspiring ideas that they could take away and write their paragraphs about. Okay, so just to show you this right hand wall now, you can click on the home page obviously to go back to that main page and click on your walls and everything. So I'll take you back through. Okay, so this is another wall I created. Create a new wall, the plus button, if you just want to create a new one. You can go into your account to change any of your settings and things, and you can also share and export. Now, what you can now do is export the file into a PDF, which I'll show you in a second. You can print it, you can email it to people, and you can share it via Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, and Pinterest and things. So if you're using any of those sites and you want to share it with your students that way, there's a really easy way to do that. So say I'd like to export it to a PDF because I want to look at it later. Just click on PDF, and it will gradually load. We'll wait for it to do that. Okay, and then it's appeared as an attachment downloaded at the bottom of my screen, so I'm just going to upload that, and it's opening at the moment. Okay, and it's opened. Okay, brilliant. So this is what it looks like. So you've got each of your posts on a separate page, and it could be that you saved it like this for later viewing. To be honest, there are certain advantages to this, but your link will stay live as long as you don't delete the wall. So for me, just keep the link on Moodle, Google+, on your website, on Twitter, however you're communicating to the students, and then they can always access it via that link, and it's still visually pleasing. I would guess that it's more useful to PDF it or print it if you've got a whole host of posts that are quite complicated to get through and to look at. Okay, so that's Padlet. Please get in touch with me if you want any more details. My email address is hannah.tyreman, Tyreman, at reading-college.ac.uk, or you can tweet me at Hannah Tyreman for any more information. Okay, enjoy Padlet.